She's very loyal, and she'll be on the replay, I think.
As you can see, okay. All right, so what are we talking about? Now we're talking about the Torah. And it says that the days of the Mashiach is going to be a new Torah. And the Rebbe explained that the new Torah means that there's going to be new commandments and that there's going to be new laws. And things are going to be more strict. Mostly. But also things are going to be, there's one thing that's going to be more lenient, and that's going to be that the fish called Leviathan is going to have a war with a big ox called Shurabar. And it's going to kill this ox. And even though nowadays this is not a kosher slaughtering, but then it will be. It'll be a new Torah. That's what Mashiach is going to bring. Okay, so the Rebbe, how did we end up yesterday? Said that, first of all, that's not so really understandable. What's the big deal about the fish being, the ox being edible? So we're waiting for Mashiach just to eat an ox. You eat an ox now, you can go on and buy a steak. You have to wait for Mashiach, suffering thousands of years just so we can eat steaks. Doesn't make much sense. So the Rebbe says, I will make sense of it. But before that, I want to say something that's even less understandable. And that is that the Maimonides brings, right? This is the Rebbe speaking yesterday. Maimonides brings that one of the proofs from the Torah that Mashiach is certainly going to come, as that is the cities of refuge. Presently, there's a commandment in the Torah to make 6 cities of refuge. 3 in the land of Israel, 3 outside of Israel. 6 cities of refuge. We talked about that yesterday. What's a city of refuge? A place where murderers run to be saved from the, what's called Goel Hadam, from the avengers, the person they killed. Everybody runs to the cities of refuge, and then they take them out and they try them. If a person was guilty, so, okay, then everybody gets tried. But if a person kills someone else from negligence, then he runs to the city of refuge and he has to stay there for the rest of his life. That's the law. Iri Miklat. Ari Miklat, if a person murders someone accidentally, then he's free game for the family of the murdered person. I murdered by accident. But that's the law in the Torah. Because he murdered by negligence, it wasn't on purpose. So therefore, he has to stay in the city of refuge for the rest of his life, or until the Kohen Gadol dies, until the high priest dies. When the high priest dies, then he can go home. And the family is they're forbidden to take revenge on him. Okay, but if he leaves the city of refuge before the high priest dies, then he's free game. Right? The family can kill him. Okay, so good news, everyone. When Mashiach comes, there's going to be 3 more cities of refuge. There'll be 9 altogether. And it'll be in these 3 new areas that we're going to conquer. It says in the Kini and the Kadmozi and the Kini and the Knizi and the Kadmoni, which is like Edom and Moab and what is this? Edom and Moab and Edom. Anyway, one of the 3 countries. I just slipped my mind. Okay. Okay, so there's going to be 3 more cities of refuge. There's going to be 9. Aren't you happy? So the Rebbe, well, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, that's even makes less sense than the thing about eating the ox. Mashiach is going to come. There's going to be more cities for accidental murderers. Who needs that? So the explanation is like this. In the Torah, there are 2 things. My recording, yeah. The Torah, in general, now we have to remember all the time that the Torah is coming directly from God, right? Everybody saw this. The Torah was given to 3 million people, about 3 million people in the desert on Mount Sinai. Everybody saw, everybody felt, everybody knew, everyone understood. There was no doubts was clear to everyone that the Torah is above miracles, right? But in this Torah, this miraculous, mysterious book called the Torah, which is given by our Creator, who's creating us right now, there's two aspects. One aspect is the Torah. That's this whole thing is talking about, a new Torah that's going to be. The Torah is number one, Chamuda Genuza Shenignaza Lacha. I have a precious hidden treasure that is given to you. Hidden treasure given to you. This is in the Talmud in Shabbat. The Jewish people said, what am I going to get? What are we going to get in Mount Sinai? So God said, Chamuda Genuza. I have a treasure which is concealed, that's hidden for you. That's the initial Torah. This is the whole idea of the Torah, that the Torah is Chachmato, the wisdom of God that's above the world. It just came down to the world. That's what we learned in the Kuti Torah. Okay, that's number one. The Torah is a tremendously deep, precious secret. Number two, Natati la'oretz, I gave. It says, Chem de genuza, shegenuza lecha, natati lecha. That's the end of the sentence. I gave to you. God gave it to us. God gave the Torah down here in the world. Natina lamata ba'oretz. It was given here in the world. Kadei, in order, lif'ol, to bring about, sha'olam, that the world, will be al pi horat Torah. This is a positive thing. Whether positive things, doing good, or prohibitions, doing good. So two things are in the Torah. Number one, that the Torah is the will and wisdom of God. And just like life is precious, how much more so the Torah is precious? It comes from God, it comes from the source of all life. Right? This is just like you don't understand what life is, infinitely more so you don't understand what the Torah is. That's precious, hidden godliness. That's number one. There's another aspect of the Torah is that the Torah came to the world to fix up the world, to tell the world how the world is supposed to be ordered. Okay. This has got to do with the cities of refuge. But Pratius Yosef in more detail. Hachilik, the difference between Torah and commandments. The Torah, that's like this inner part we're talking about. That's the wisdom of God. The commandments, they are coming into the world to fix up the world. Alder says similarly also in the Torah itself. Learning the wisdom of the Torah. Tishalatimo on its own. She'eno nogea, that's not relevant to deed. Right? Learning all the different arguments in the Talmud. It's a commandment to do so. But nevertheless, it's Yagdil Torah v'yadir, just learning the Torah, understanding the Torah, Drush v'kabel schar, that he learns the Torah and he receives a reward, Limud leida, in order to know what to do. Right? That's number one, to learn the ideas of the Torah, and and that's one part of the Torah, the intellect and the spirituality of the Torah. And then there's the practical of the Torah. Limud leida, to learn the Torah in order to know what to do. Right? In general, you can say that there's the Talmud and the Shulchan Aruch. The Talmud is the book of all the arguments between the rabbis. All these genius, holy rabbis are expressing their godly way of looking at the Torah. That's the logic behind it, the understanding of it, getting these ideas in my mind. And then there's a book called the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is that all of these ideas and arguments distilled into deed, what actually to do. Okay, so there's two aspects of the Torah, the inside of the Torah and the outside of the Torah. The inside of the Torah that's the godliness of the Torah, and the outside, that's the worldliness of the Torah. When a person learns the Torah on itself, behold, this is the difference between the revealed Torah and the hidden Torah. In just learning the Torah also, there's what's called the inside of the inside. The Torah is the inside, right? That's God's wisdom and will. But then there's the inside of the inside, to learn the secrets of the Torah. The Nigla, the Torah, the revealed aspects of the Torah that is stressed mainly what should be done in the world. Different laws, what's permissible, what's forbidden. It doesn't come to the conclusions necessarily, but it talks about the different aspects, the different ways of looking at each and every law of God. And therefore, it's called Ilona de Tovra. Therefore, the Talmud is called the tree of good and evil. The Talmud, Eitzadat Tovra. Why? Because it contains in it things that are bad. It tells you what to do with them, right? How you should avoid eating not kosher food. Not kosher food is bad. Also, what's good? How you can make the food kosher. Al Shem Itlabshuta Lavorera Tov Vera, because that's the thing of the Talmud. It clarifies what is bad and good. That's all spiritual. Lahavdil, to separate between what's disqualified, what's forbidden, what's impure, to what is yes qualified and what's permissible and what is yet pure. Also, there's also in the Talmud, there's also stories about liars, cheaters, right? What to do with a murderer, what to do. That's the Talmud deals with this to clarify truth from bad, from lies. That's the laws also of when people are guilty, they're innocent, which is not the case. That's the what's called the oral Torah, the Talmud, which is not the case. The secrets of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, that doesn't deal with bad at all. That's called the tree of life. The secrets of the Torah, like Kabbalah and Chassidut, they deal with only good things. The Leis Talmud is no bad at all. Okay. This is supposed to be one sentence. There is not any bad side from the cave and sins. She'eno oseket, because the secrets of the Torah, the mysteries of the Torah, do not deal with bad or good, only with what God's way of looking at the world, knowing God. Okay, so what did we already say over here up to now? The Torah has inside and outside. Generally, the outside of the Torah is the commandments that's dealing with the world. But even in the Torah itself, there's also inside and outside. The outside of the Torah is the arguments of the Torah that deal with what to do in the world. There's no conclusion, what to do with the world. And the inside of the Torah is the secrets of the Torah. I'm sorry. In the Torah itself, there's the outer part of the Torah, namely like the Shulchan Aruch, that talks about what to do, and then there's the arguments about what to do. That's the inside of the and in the inside of the Torah, the arguments, there's also an inside and an outside. The outside is, like we said, the arguments about what to do, but the inside is the secrets of the Torah, the mysteries of the Torah. So we have the deepest of the deep of the Torah. That's the secrets, the mysteries, the Kabbalah, the Chassidut in the Torah. That's the deepest of the deep. And the most external of the external, that's the commandments. That's all part of the Torah. Okay, now we can see the difference between nowadays and the days of the Mashiach. And nowadays, our main service is the outer, external of the external, the commandments, fixing up the world. And that's mainly by means of learning the outside part of the Torah, the 6 orders of the Mishnah, etc., which includes also all the different arguments between the Rishonim and the Achronim, the different arguments in Isser V'Heter, learning Torah, learning Shulchan Aruch, learning Gemara. The Elu Shagam B'Shvil Avodat Birurim V'Nigla the Torah Yesh Tzorech B'Limud Nistar. Sometimes, once in a while, you have to look into a Kabbalah book just to get a little bit of inspiration, so that you shine your godly soul. But the main thing nowadays is fixing up the world, learning the Torah as it's relevant to the world. Whether it's talking about doing the commandments, whether it's talking about the Shulchan Aruch, the actual decisions of the laws, what actually to do, whether it's talking about the Mishnah, the Talmud, things that are relevant to fixing up the world, which is not the case in the days of the Mashiach. After we finish fixing up the world, then the bad will be separated from the good. Torah, the purpose of the Torah and the commandments will not be in order to fix up the world anymore. We won't do commandments in order to refine the world. The world will already be, like we said before in Lakuti Torah, will see things from God's point of view. There won't be any more evil. To do bad things will be ridiculous. No one will want to do anything bad. Why will we learn the Torah? To draw down higher levels of godliness. And the whole thing will be according to the secrets of the Torah, and to do the commandments with a proper intention. The intention, the upper intention, the inside of the Torah, the hidden reasons of the Torah. That's how King Solomon starts off his book, Song of Songs. He will kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. He says, this is the Torah that Moshiach is going to reveal. That even then, we'll have to know the laws. We'll have to know what's permissible and forbidden. We'll have to know. But aniglas you galuyim v'yaduim, the call in Israel, everyone will know what's forbidden and what's permissible. People won't have to forget, won't have to learn. They'll be told one time what's permissible, and they'll know it automatically. To a certain degree, we see this nowadays with the children that learn in school, in Torah school. Once you tell them something is forbidden, that's it. It's forbidden. That's obvious to them, right? And it's a command. It's obvious. So that's what's going to be in the future. Okay, so what's the Rebbe saying? The main difference between now and the days of the Mashiach, as far as the Torah goes, is that in the days of the Mashiach, I'm going to have to mute something. There we go. Okay, in the days of the Mashiach, the main emphasis will be on God. The world will be fixed up. The world will be like clean glasses. Right? When a person's glasses are dirty, so he sees all sorts of things that he doesn't know what they are, or he's got the wrong glasses on or whatever. But when he gets the right glasses and he cleans them off, or even more ideally, like we said before, the world will be totally one with God. You won't need glasses at all. Then you see what's the truth. The same thing is when we see what the truth is, that God is creating the world, how important it is, to how amazing and blessed this physical world is, then there won't be any bad. And you won't have to learn the Torah in order to separate bad from good. And why will you have to learn the Torah? In order to reveal more and more godliness into the world, more and more health. That's where the analogy of health breaks down, because a person can get healthy, and that's it. There's a certain level of health that he can reach, physical health. But then there's also can be spiritual health, and there can be emotional health, that the person does more and he's more happy. But that's also limited, because people are limited. But by God, it's not limited. There's unlimited spiritual and physical and emotional and intellectual godliness that can be revealed in the world. The Yisrael could say, Shazeo, that's the whole difference between the 6 cities of refuge nowadays and the 3 more cities that are going to be added in the days of the Mashiach. The commandment of the city of refuge, this is to fix up the sin of the tree of knowledge. That's the source of all sin and all death. Like we said before, what happened when Adam ate from the tree? Is he covered over good. He covered over the eternal good of God, which is in the world, which is in us, which is in the Torah, covered it over. Covered over. Why the eternal good of God, which is in the Torah? Because the Torah now has to work and fixing up the world. So the cities of refuge are essentially a correction for the sin of the egotism of man, that he brought death into the world. Like it says in the Midrash, Lama Nigrash Adam Arishon, why was the first man evicted from heaven after he sinned? Achevi Mitzah, because he brought death to all the generations. Therefore, he really should have, he's punishable by death immediately. But Sherachamta, God had mercy on him and evicted him from heaven, just like a person that murders accidentally also is evicted from the world, and he has to go to the cities of refuge. So just like man was evicted from Gan Eden, from heaven, because he ate from the tree, so God said also nowadays, and because he ate from the tree and brought death to the world, so now also the same thing is that a person that kills someone by accident is he has to go to the city of refuge. Really, it's the other way around. Because there's a law in the Torah that someone who kills someone by accident goes to a city of refuge, so God said, I'm going to apply this law to you, Adam. You brought death into the world. Okay, you didn't do it on purpose, whatever it is, but you're exiled from heaven. You got to go into the city of refuge. What's the city of refuge? By Adam, it was this world. And even more, this is what the whole idea of fixing up all sins. It's known that kol chet, that anytime that there's a sin, we're going to be able to get up to this. Let's see how we do it. Okay. That all sin or transgressions is like maka nefesh. We said before, remember in Likuti Torah, this is like killing a person. It's like killing someone by accident. Like it said, shofech adam badam, one who pours the blood of man into man. Here, let's see, this is a pasuk in 94. Noach, Parshat Noach. Right? God told Noah, as soon as he came out of the ark, at the Teva. So God said to Noah, okay, from now on, you can kill animals. Animals, yes, but you can't kill people. You can't even kill yourself. Because if you spill the blood of man, is in man is spilled. Okay, so why 2 times man? So that's what we learned before. Remember, it says. Get up to whatever. Oh. Yeah, Shahu, this is the idea of spilling of the blood of the man of holiness into the man of klipa, of impurity. Like we just learned. Elaba, Chezeu, Ba'ofen, this is in a way of shkaga. It's by accident. Shelo b'ratzono. Now the Rebbe is going to say a very deep thing over here. That anyone who kills does not do it on purpose. Especially a Jew. The true will of every Jew is lasod kol mitzvot litrachek mi'avero, to do what God wants and to keep away from what God prohibits. That's the essential nature of every Jew. It's the same thing, really, the essential nature of every human being. All humanity comes from Noah. Noah is the father of all humanity. Therefore, the 7 commandments, they're called the 7 commandments of Noah. Noah had the power to defy the whole world. The only reason people do sins is because their evil impulse overpowers them. It's as though they're being forced. This is blidat. Therefore, only way a person can do a sin is if he forgets about God. He doesn't feel God. Like the rabbis say, a person never does a sin unless there comes into him a spirit of insanity. But and even more, and this is the main thing, that God made this happen to the person. God brought us into tests. Like it says, Nor alilas b'nei adam. Alilas nitna lo bo. Just the fact that we're born in the world is already a terrible test by God. He put us in the world, and the world is all these we're bombarded by all sorts of negative stimuli. And what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? So the Rebbe said, I'll tell you what we're supposed to do. We have the Torah. Torah tells you what to do, and you've got the power to do it. So but what if you don't do what God wants? What if you go against God? He says, well, you have good reason why. I mean, God set the whole thing up. God put us in this world with this terrible influences all around us, and temptations and threats and things like that. And he gave us a very weak nature, and he gave us a strong desire to do bad. So if we do bad, I mean, you can't blame the person. It says, yeah, but you did bad, so you're guilty. But you're guilty what's called b'shogeg, unintentional. Like it says, nor alilos b'nei adam. And the fixing is by means of gulusli or miklat. Just by way, I just want to say something. It says there's a sentence. I forget I think it's Yoel. V'nikesi v'damam lo nikesi. I will clean them, but the blood of the Jews I won't clean. In other words, non-Jews that did sins, whatever the sins are, is God can find a way to be lenient with them. Well, what do you want from the person lenient with it? I don't know how it works. I'm not God, but nevertheless, that's what it says. But those that did sins against Jews and killed Jews, lonely Casey. God is definitely not lenient with them. After all, the Jews are God's sons. The Jews are God's children, not just children. They're the sons of God. Every Jew is a son of God. And when you do something bad to the Jews, you're doing something bad to God, the essence of God. What if a Jew does something bad to a Jew? I don't know. God will figure it out. Okay. Nevertheless, anytime a person does any sort of a sin, especially a Jew we're talking about, does a sin, so anytime he does a sin, it's always by accident. If he would really intentionally know what was going on, he could never intentionally go against God. The only time you go is because it's mistaken identity. You don't know what God is. You don't know who you are. You don't know what the other person is. You don't know what life is. You don't know what truth is. And therefore, the sin happened. The fixing of this is going to the city of refuge. What's the city of refuge now? is talking about the Torah. Like the rabbis say, the words of Torah, that's the city of refuge. Namely, that the Torah, this protects as a sanctuary for any person that learns Torah, and it protects him and it saves him from what's called the angel of death. And that's the devil. This is the evil impulse. But and not only that, but by means of the Torah, Naseh Tikkun, it fixes the person up. The Shfichas Dam, for the blood that you poured and you increased bad in the world of Kedusha, you weakened the power of holiness, the holy man called, so to speak, God, and you poured life into the evil. So now by learning Torah, you increase love. It gives an infusion, life. You give an infusion of life into God. Chayos Chadash from the Torah Chayim. In the days of the Mashiach, after everything was completed, after the world is fixed up, then the main thing will be the city of refuge will be, like we said before, it'll be a higher way. What'll be the higher way? It's known that also in the days of the Mashiach, when there's finished the service of the Jewish people and separating good from bad, and they'll reach the total completion of the world as it was before the sin of the tree of knowledge, there still will be bad in the world. Just like when God created the world, there was the snake, it was still there. And he convinced Chava, Eve, to eat. So it must have been a little bit inside of her also. And Chava convinced her husband. So it must have been this potential to do bad was there. And therefore, even if the world is fixed up to be the way it was before Adam sinned, nevertheless, there'll still be a little bit of a hint, a possibility, an inclination, a temptation to do bad, to go against God, to be selfish. And therefore, therefore, there will still be the necessity of cities of refuge. In order, not because people actually did kill by accident, the cities of refuge will be in order to prevent the possibility of a bad thing happening from the bad which is in the world. The cities of refuge will be that you run to the city of refuge, which is the Torah. In this case, it's going to be, what do we say, the secrets of the Torah. That there won't be any bad in the world like it was before Adam ate from the tree. There was a possibility of bad. Inyan Zeh, this, that there won't even be a possibility of doing anything bad. This will be mine by means of adding on 3 more cities. Why 3? This is a new type of cities of refuge, a new type of Torah. Because we said the Torah is the city of refuge. There'll be a new type of a Torah. That's what it means. The new Torah will be revealed. New deep secrets of the Torah. That's the Torah Chadash. That's the new Torah. It will reveal the new secrets and reasons for the inside of the Torah. That since the inside of the Torah, the panemius secrets of the Torah, is above any connection to the world. It's above any sort of work at changing bad to good. Of changing bad to good, of purifying the world. Therefore, this new type of Torah, the new inner secrets of the Torah, that's the cities of refuge, will be a sanctuary for a person, not just a person that did sins, but a person that has the potential maybe to be able to do sins like Adam did. There'll be 3 cities of refuge, 3 new levels of Torah that will prevent even this. A new type of a city of refuge, and therefore, and even more. They say sweet. Because these 3 cities that will be added in the days of the Mashiach, they will be in the cities of the Kini and the Kenizi and the Kadmoni. Shenichras Avram, that when God promised Abraham in the what's called the Brit Bein HaBetarim, the covenant that he made between the pieces. As God promised Abraham that he's going to give him 10 nations, the land where 10 nations live, and he only gave 7. Moses only received 7. Mashiach is going to get the other 3. And these 3 cities of refuge will be in these 3 that Mashiach is going to bring. Kini and the Kenizi and the Kadmoni. That's, what is it? Moab and Ammon. Ammon and Moab and Edom, it says. Avram. Avinu Brit, that Abraham made a covenant with them And it's still, God didn't give us these other three cities. And then it says in the Torah that if God widens your boundaries, and you'll know that the conquering of these three lands, seven lands, what is physical, it's a physical place in the world, but also in our soul. There's what's called the seven lands we have to conquer. This is seven emotions. This is the service now. We have to force ourselves and convince ourselves to love God and to fear God. We have to force ourselves. That's the seven emotions. When the future Moshiach brings, that we'll conquer the three nations, the Kini and the Kenizi and the Kadmoni. And this will also correspond to the three aspects of our soul. This is talking about we'll have a new wisdom, a new understanding, and a new connection to God. And then there'll be what's called the new revelation of the Torah. And this is what's going to finish and to complete the purification. And that's the three new cities of refuge. There's going to be this three new aspects of Torah that are going to be revealed, which are going to preclude even the possibility of being selfish in thought, speech, action, and feeling. As we are going to continue, God willing, tomorrow. And tomorrow, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll finish this. Well, it's a lot to do. Huh? We're going to finish it? We'll try. This is what we'll finish tomorrow. Basically finished. Now we're going to do the Yom Yom and a story for everybody, because they didn't do a story yesterday. Wow. 1 minute here. Oh, there it is.